and to put that stress on themselves just doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary stress.
Yeah. We don't like stress.
Cut it out.
Hi, I'm Rachel Clare. I am a registered dietitian and I specialise in intuitive eating and recovery from eating disorders.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jenna Daku, and I'm a psychotherapist specialising in eating disorder recovery.
So we have collaborated to create a blog and a campaign this new year for ditching the diet resolutions and joining our anti-diet revolution.
I think I've heard a lot of people talk about things that they don't recognise as being rules. So for example, you know, only eating from certain places, only eating from places that have like all the nutritional value listed. I hear people often talking about only giving themselves permission to eat certain foods when they're hungover or when they've been drinking. And then that's also hugely problematic because then it becomes this kind of, it can kind of feed into a binge cycle almost.
What you think that rule is doing is keeping you safe.
Yeah.
But when you go through recovery and you challenge those rules, you realise that actually they were just holding you back.
So now we're going to give you 5 ways to reframe your diet mentality.
So maybe your doctor's told you that you should think about losing weight, or you've heard all the headlines in the news about obesity as causing this much money on the NHS, or you know, such a huge rise in type 2 diabetes and things. And I'm from the medical profession, so you know, I'm totally aware of this, and I kind of disagree a lot with it. And there are small parts of evidence now that are kind of proving a counter message. So there have been studies to show that people in the overweight category actually tend to live longer than the people in the normal category. There's also evidence that internalized weight stigma is also a huge risk factor for, you know, illnesses associated with obesity as well. So, you know, in terms of weight, and everyone's different, everyone's individual, and you know, it's completely up to the individual of what they want to do about their weight. You know, if somebody wants to lose weight, then that's their choice, that's their decision. If they come to me and say that they want to lose weight, I'm not going to help them. You know, I'm going to try and help them to feel good about themselves and have a good relationship with food. And as a result of that, I believe that their health will get better, but not coming from a place of trying to the weight being the sole issue. So if somebody's weight is, you know, holding them back from being able to move properly, okay, fine, we can think about that, but let's work with what you can do at the moment, rather than thinking, okay, you can't move at the moment, let's lose weight and then you can move. You know, everybody can do something. Kind of working with people where they're at and not colluding with this idea that their weight is, you know, really holding them back.
But also in that circumstance, if somebody is so overweight that they can't move, the issue isn't just their weight. There's other things going on, right? Whether there's some sort of underlying trauma, whether there's something driving that sometimes, or a lot of the time actually.
So it's not a case of us totally disregarding the idea that weight has anything to do with health, but that it's recognizing that weight is not the solution to the health. It's about kind of the core issue, and dealing with the core issue is the solution, and not somebody's size.
And also one of the other problems with the idea that like you need to lose weight in order to be healthy is that comes from a place of a very narrow definition of health that is largely focused on what our bodies look like and what you're putting into your body, what you're doing to your body. And it doesn't account for psychological health, social health, emotional health, spiritual health, all of that, which are just as important. It's not as easy as going, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to be healthy. You need to look at your life as a whole. Mental
health is such a huge thing, and you know, the association of depression and anxiety with kind of how you feel about yourself. And there's studies to show that once people reject the diet mentality and improve their kind of lifestyle in terms of having a healthy relationship with food, which includes variety, but peace with that variety, and moving their bodies and enjoy a way that they enjoy, and it's still fairly regular because it feels good to move your body fairly regularly. And then, you know, their kind of symptoms of mental health issues kind of come down as well. Whereas if you put somebody on a diet which is restrictive, which is punishing, you know, their rates of mental health is going to kind of come up. Intuitive eating is becoming a more recognised term, but some people are kind of using it in a way of what you're doing is you're becoming intuitive with your body, so you're eating when you're hungry and just stopping when you're full, and this way you can kind of control your body and your size. And actually that's not what intuitive eating is about. And yes, learning to recognise your full signals is an important part of intuitive eating, but it's not supposed to become a rule of when you feel full you stop eating.
Yeah. And the most important thing I think as well, that's worth mentioning, you know, if you overeat, it's not the end of the world. And the most important thing is if you feel physically, you know, uncomfortable as a result, just don't beat yourself up, because I think so many people do that. It's a rule that they're not allowed to overeat, and then they punish themselves afterwards. You don't need to punish yourself if you've overeaten. Everybody does it. It's okay.
Yeah, and I guess the way to kind of reframe it is kind of when you feel full, you can make a mindful decision of what you choose to do with that. At that point, what do you want to do? Like, if you're really enjoying the food and you want to have a little bit more, that's absolutely fine. You know, you can go ahead. But equally, if you feel like actually you're satisfied, you've enjoyed your meal, you feel kind of emotionally satisfied as well, then, you know, you can stop and you don't have to finish, you know, your whole meal. But it's just that it's got to be coming from a place not of anxiety and diet mentality, but of a place of kind of confidence. For a diet to be successfully sold, it needs to have such a clear message that people feel as though it's something that's really easy to follow, and people like black and white thinking. So if a diet is telling them cut out carbs or cut out fat or cut out gluten, it's like, okay, great, this is super easy. What actually happens there is that because you're cutting out such a big part of your food group, you could be missing out on really vital nutrients. So if you cut out your carbs, then you're cutting out energy, basically. So you're going to be feeling really lethargic, but also you'll be missing out on fibre or vitamins that you find in carbs. Bread is fortified with folate, which is a really important nutrient. So one example of a really easy to follow diet is the ketogenic diet, which is essentially, you know, just another super low carb diet. And yes, people lose weight because they're not burning glucose, they're burning fat and things, but actually the side effects of following the ketogenic diet are so horrendous. It's actually quite detrimental to your health.
Restriction is a form of disordered eating as well, which is problematic. And as soon as you start restricting, you know, you are messing with your metabolism. And so the irony is with any kind of diet or like cutting anything out of your diet, obviously, unless you have a severe allergy, your body's going to respond as well appropriately to try and keep you alive by holding on to everything that it can. And so then it, you know, the diet isn't really doing what it's even designed to do. But also it's stressful. You know, when you cut out an entire food group and you think about eating out, or you think about meeting up with friends, or you think about what you're going to eat for lunch at work, it's stressful. And that also has a negative impact on your overall health, because remember, health isn't just physical.
And they have evidence of people with celiac disease who actually have to cut out gluten in order to kind of be well. It does have a huge impact on their mental health because of the stress. For somebody that doesn't have to, and to put that stress on themselves, just doesn't really make any sense. Some people can feel like if they really, truly and honestly enjoy food, then they're going to start eating loads of it and they're going to put on loads of weight and things like that. And yeah, that's just not true. We're not designed to want to eat all the time. We're designed to kind of eat however much we need to kind of keep us going, but then also, you know, enjoy really, really tasty food from time to time.
I mean, we're psychologically programmed. I mean, if I told you to not turn around right now, what do you want to do? Yeah. I mean, that's just how we're programmed, and the same thing goes with food, right? If you're saying I'm not allowed to eat X, Y, and Z, all you're going to think about is eating X, Y, and Z. Again, that creates a lot of stress and anxiety for people, because then you start to worry about, oh, why am I thinking about food all the time? How come I can't stop thinking about X, Y, and Z that I want to eat? You know, and it becomes all consuming.
Yeah, and also diets really kind of make food into good and bad categories. Often the foods that are deemed as bad taste really good. So then people feel as though when they have these foods, they're a bad person.
Yeah, I mean, diet culture just breeds guilt and shame. And it's so unfortunate, because I think it robs people from the experience of being able to truly enjoy food. What a lot of people don't recognize is that body image isn't actually about what your body looks like. It has more to do with how you feel about yourself. And it's your perception of what your body looks like. And that is deeply influenced by sociocultural values and ideals. And therefore it's also very influenced by diet culture. Because we are sold the idea and we believe that we should be in control of what our bodies look like. When life starts to feel overwhelming, or when life feels out of control, it's really easy to project those uncomfortable feelings onto your body, because then you're so, like, you have an illusion that you have a problem with a solution. And the solution, of course, is diet and exercise, right? So it can offer temporary relief from whatever else is going on in your life. But the issue is that it's actually creating more stress, because you're not tackling the underlying problems. That's important to kind of recognize when you're experiencing negative body image. You know, what else is going on in my life, and try to kind of figure that out for yourself, and then try and tackle it as best you can. So, I mean, one of the ways to counteract this is by trying to nourish yourself and nourish different areas of your life. So, you know, eat the foods that you enjoy. Try to let go of food guilt. That's so, so important. You know, try and stop beating yourself up after you eat things, anything. Try and, you know, tease apart that moralization of food, of seeing it as good or bad, healthy, unhealthy. Surround yourself with people that you love and care about, that nourish you from a social perspective. And, you know, just give yourself permission to enjoy life to the fullest and be present as much as you can. Let go of the rules. Give yourself permission to just live this life, because, I mean, you only got one. So cheesy. I love it.